actually makes me motion sick. I had to have a lie down. I
Does
had a little bit of a nap.
have a little
Honestly,
siesta on it. Oh
yeah,
wow.
it was really bad.
That's
And
what happens to Gooch when he plays VR. Just
yeah,
just can't stomach it.
no, no. So I think I don't know if there's a way to like turn off like the little like the zoom effect. Like I don't know. Like
It's weird to look. It's kind of like it's it's not like a fisheye zoom, but it's not like a straight zoom either. It kind of focuses. You know, like on those movies where they go like enhance and it zooms in on a certain bit.
oh my god, yeah. Someone just said, does anyone else get motion sickness playing this? Uh, yeah, I used to get it. However, sometimes when I move or pan fast, it can happen. Yeah.
There's actually
Just
a
started playing.
there's
Yeah.
a
People just say after half an hour they feel sick and have to go and lie down. Yeah.
there's a Google Maps
Wow.
is killing people. There's a VR
Yeah.
app of this thing called Wander, where it's basically like you just picture in the world and go on Street View, but you basically can do all this stuff. But yeah, in VR. So imagine how queasy that'd make you. You'd
Oh
be
God.
seasick. You'd be just
Yeah.
magic carpet on the ground. That means I probably can't geoguess then in case I make you sick. So I thought, oh, we might have a little geoguesser like little thing happen
Yeah.
if I get bored.
I might. I don't think I can. I don't think I can do any more of it. Um,
That's fine. It's fine. I've got
yeah.
code to do.
Oh.
Oh, I need some
So
music.
I'm just watching some X Files on.
Oh, what are you up
Um,
to in the X Files? What episode range?
I am on X Files season 6, episode 19.
How many
The
seasons did they have? Like 9?
unnatural. Yeah, 9. Yeah,
Wow.
season 6, episode 19. Um, so I'll have your stuff on that screen. Oh, do you know? I really want to get some more screens, but I need another graphics card to drive them, and obviously graphics cards at the moment are
Yeah. Wait, you
there as
need.
rocking more shit.
I mean,
So
surely you don't need a massive graphics. I mean, these days,
I
like high
know I do.
GPUs can.
Well, the thing is, I've got a 2070 driving 3 of them, but I want to get a super ultra wide and
Oh
2
my
extras.
goodness.
So I want a super ultra wide, and I want 2 27 inches in portrait. So I've got the super ultra wide at the above me, which
Yeah.
is like above the 3, and then the 2 portrait 24 or 27 inches either side of it.
It's just
So
crazy.
I know,
You'd
right?
virtually be in the Matrix then.
It would be, yeah. I'll be like, I'm Tank, I'm your operator.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. It'd be that scene, wouldn't it? It'd be you're the one sat in the chair. Like, I don't even see the Matrix anymore.
You know,
Oh,
blonde, brunette, redhead.
yeah.
And do you want a drink? Dozer makes it. The 2 things. Degreasing engines and killing brain cells. Or it might have been the other way around.
I'm kind of on the fence about the new Matrix thing. Because they're bringing out a new Matrix movie. I think there's 2 of them. They're bringing out a couple of them, aren't
I will still watch them because the Matrix is it's kind of fun.
they? Yeah.
It's like
I'll definitely watch them. But...
the first one was like groundbreaking. The second and third were like just a bit. I don't know. You know, everyone's got their opinions. I don't think they were the best, but I did still enjoy them.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the second more than the third.
Yeah.
I think the second one had a few like key, like I can remember specific points in the second one, like the fight with all the Agent Smiths and the Merovingian fight, and
the Merovingian was just like, what a weirdo.
And just him talking to the Merovingian to like start with, I was like, oh, yeah, this is an interesting thing. But then in the third one, I don't know, it just kind of it got too meta for me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we're wheels within wheels at this point. It's like
the complicators gloves were like just really doing it, weren't they?
Yeah. It was like I could see the direction in 2, but
it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
You know, can't we just have Neo in his room listening to like Rob Zombie?
Yeah,
It's
man,
like
Ramstein
it's a simple
yeah,
time. It's a simple time.
just looking confused every now and again. I'm the one, and he's just like just looking confused at everything. That's what Keanu does,
Yeah.
doesn't it? He just confuses. Looks confused.
What? Confused Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did enjoy them. Do you know what I did today? I
What do you do?
did a bold thing. I downloaded Unity and I
Oh,
opened Unity.
oh, Kate, this warms
It's
my
happening
very
It's happening
cockles.
again. It's happening again. It's like the architect. It's the 7th time we've tried to use Unity and we're becoming exceedingly efficient at it.
Oh, you need to tell me though. When you find something you're like, oh, there's got to be a better way to do this. You can ask me and I'll go, I don't have a clue. Don't know what to tell you. But I feel that there is a lot of potential to be tapped in Unity. But again, a lot of it comes from the ecosystem.
I'm just gonna totally YOLO kit bash it. I'm going to make a little story RPG.
Oh right, yeah.
Like nothing special. You know, bit of killing, a bit of questing.
Yeah, better
bit of
kill me.
inventory.
That's yes. I mean, it sounds like that's it. There's bish bash bosh, but oh my god, it's gonna be so much pain. Like the inventory when you're like,
Yeah.
are you dragging and dropping?
No, I already have inventory code that I'll be able to use.
Lift and shifting.
Yeah, standard inventory stuff.
Pretty good. I'm just gonna do a waffle for like a minute, just to give a recap for the VOD. Just because I've done some stuff off cam, because you know when you got all those technical spikes, you're like, this could take like an hour or 3 weeks or a year. And you're like, I just need to sit down, try and hammer something out, and keep prototyping, and fire everything, and eventually something will happen. And that's where I got to with the drag and drop. So drag and drop does what I need it to now. But
cool.
I just kind of did that all somewhere. So I'm just gonna waffle to them for a minute or whatever, and then I'll talk to you again.
Okay, give me a prod.
That's fine. Well, you'll just hear me. I'll just mute myself to you, and then
okay.
Yeah, there we go. Right, so for anybody who's watched some of the other bits and it's like, hey, what's happening? What are we doing now? So last time we were playing, well, we weren't playing, we were coding, but whatever. Last time we were doing stuff, we got to the point where we had a card, lovely card, like the card, big fan of the card, but we couldn't use the card. But I wanted let me pause that. I need to have the ability to use a card on something, like them or whatever. So the idea was hello by the way. I'm just doing a slight recap of something I did off camera. So I don't want to get into the technicalities of it because it's a very faffy process. I won't lie to you, it's a bit faffy. We'll cover it. We'll cover some of the code, but effectively I have to have a drag event on this thing. And again, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole because this is specific to HTML. If you're doing this in Unity, it would be a different process. If you're doing it in Monogame, it would be a slightly different process. But for drag and drop in the browser, I know roughly what was needed, but it gets a bit quirky because all these things are different things, and I've got to check server-side data and client-side data, so I've got to kind of cross boundaries. So I've got it to the point now where if I think if I load this up now, as you can see, it's grey. It's grey. I've tried to do like a Slay the Spire sort of thing here. It's grey. If I go over them, it's green. I can use it on them. There you go, dropping, call.net. So it's called through to the .NET layer, and in the .NET layer, we've basically got the information on what card's being called, well, the ID of the card that's being called, and the ID of what it's being used on. Now, different cards can be used on different things. So I don't know why it's green permanently there. That's crazy. That's probably a bug, but we don't need to worry about it too much. But ultimately, we can kind of drag and drop on things, and it works. So you see, if I drag and drop over here, it can't use on them, and that's why it should have been grey. But there's probably a little bug around that. I just kind of haven't synced out. But you can see it's grey normally, green when you can use it, grey when you can't. But later on we'll have like traps or something, I imagine, where you can put a trap down, and people will be like, oh wow, look at that trap. But yeah, and although it's not that impressive from a code perspective, again, you got to remember, you got to use your imagination here. If this was in Unity, well, I mean, it could still look as shit in Unity, but you could potentially do a lot more stuff. Particle effects and jiggles and better lighting and stuff. But the actual functionality will still be the same. So that's the key part, anyway. So yeah, we got cards. We ended the last session with that, and we got all these things here. So now let's have a quick look at the code. I kind of lied to Kay. I said it'd be a minute. It's never going to be a minute with me waffling. So, I did some JavaScript. Where's the JavaScript? That's what everybody's asking. Everybody's asking, where's the JavaScript, Lee? Where's the JavaScript? Where's the money, Lebowski? Right, here we go. We'll get on to Interop Proxy in a minute. So, card drag and drop. This isn't that complicated, but there is a lot of code here. So, SVG, if you don't know about SVGs, they're just vectorized graphics. So, effectively, we use them so we can draw lines. So, behind the scenes, it draws a line, which doesn't go anywhere. Just we've got a line on the page. Because it's more of a retained... Is that a retained API? I can't remember. One's where it draws as and when it's needed, like a blitting. And one's where it has the stuff in memory and just updates when it needs to. I think that's retained. But anyway, it's basically got this. It's got the notion of a line, and the draw is kind of like the handle on the SVG stuff. So we have a line. We have a dummy image so that we don't drag the card. Again, this is all quirks to do with the web stuff. Some helpers to get the element position. Check if the card can be used on the view. We'll probably have to add to that later. And then we've got all the event stuff. So on start drag, on end drag, on dragging, on card drag enter, all this stuff here. But really, all this manages is where am I dragging it? What's happening? Have I moused over something while I'm dragging? Have I moused over something I shouldn't be on? Can it be used? So you don't really need to worry too much about this. And again, this is just purely view level stuff. And I don't want to get too bogged down in the views, because later on we'll be binning this view and we'll move over to Unity or something. But it's worth knowing that this does all that. Now, it gets difficult because when we want to know, can I use this card on something? We kind of want to be able to communicate with the server side. So I think we've kind of hard-coded it there for now. But when we actually do the drop, we need to call .NET. So for this, we need to actually have a .NET, which is a handle for Blazor. And we basically say to that, hey, go into the C# world and call apply card and pass over all this information. And that's basically what it goes over to. So if I go to the Interop Proxy, this is really just a simple, it wraps the Blazor code to pass over a .NET object, which is kind of like the handle to the .NET world. It's the keys to the kingdom. So we've got that, and I basically made a wrapper around that for run interop. So run interop is basically a function that gets exposed on the Interop Proxy. And yeah, we can call that. So that's kind of like the gateway to get to the backend stuff. And this just basically calls it. So if we look, .NET invoke method, we'll do that. Well, run interop, and then that gets the .NET bit, which does invoke work. You don't really need to worry about that too much. If we go to the backend bit, is that the shortcut? God, when you try and debug it, it tries to be clever. It's not clever, it's silly. Let's find the interop thing manually. Control-Shift-N. Can't remember what the shortcut is. Anyway, there's in the web layer, there will be a where does it live? Where does it live? It lives in here somewhere. Eyes peeled. Interop Proxy. There we go. See, normally Control-Shift-N would let me search on that, and I'm not sure if Resharp has shit the bed or something. No, it seems fair. Anyway, this basically acts as the proxy thing, so expose events here, well, methods, and the front end goes, hey, I know about the apply card method because you've exposed it. And that's basically it. So this is where we've got up to now. We're calling this code with the relevant bits. I got the card GUI, got the view thing, so I can get the cards. So I've got the card, I've got the unit. I haven't actually applied anything, because we'll do that in this I don't want to call it a lesson because it's not really a lesson, but in this episode, we'll call it an episode. So that's where we're up to. There's a couple of other bits which I've added, which are view types. So a view can be a unit, a tile, a weapon slot, an arm slot, an ability slot. So those bits there, for example, if I go back into the game, and when it eventually tries to load, this loading thing here, you might think, oh, it takes a while to load. That's because Blazor's effectively just shoving .NET into the browser. It's like grabbing it and just cramming it right in like a tin can and lobbing it at the browser. And it's like 10 meg. Right, so if I pause and I click on Gooch, so here that's the race, the class, the weapon, the armor. So these ones here, you will be able to change these, and that will have cards for that. So at the moment we've just got a card which should give 20 HP back. But we will eventually have it so that you can get a new weapon which you can apply, or new armor, or maybe change class. You probably not get a change race, I don't know. I mean, you might even get units down here, so you might get a card which actually lets you deploy a unit somewhere. So you go, oh, I want to deploy a Death Knight there, or whatever. We'll get onto that later. Iterative approach. But that brings you up to speed roughly as to where we were, which was we have the card, and now I can use the card. Waffle over. I'm gonna bring Kate back in. Hello, Kate. You are live back on the show.
You are live on Channel 4. Please do not say
fuck or bugger.
Fuck or bugger.
Yeah. Yes. What was I gonna do? I was gonna put the card in. Oh, guess what I did today, Kate? I'm not gonna say I YOLO'd, but Rolf was like, oh, I bought some SHIB coin. So I was like, yeah, go on then. So I bought some SHIB. For no apparent reason. Just because I had some Doge. Do you remember old Doge coin? That seems to do well these days. But
yeah,
I'm not a massive fan of Doge. It's just getting collapsed.
Isn't it supposed to just lose money? Isn't that the point? Like,
yeah, kind of. It keeps adding more and more currency, so it devalues what's already there. The same sort of thing can be said of SHIB. I've only put a small. I basically took some of my IOTA and went, oh, I'll put that into SHIB because, whether you like it or not, the market is kind of run by headlines and, well, for crypto anyway. All it takes is Papa Musk to Papa Elon to put a tweet out there saying, "Oh, we really love some SHIBs," and suddenly everybody's gobbling on the SHIB coin buffet. So I thought, yeah, there's probably some potential in that. It's probably not going to be much potential past a week or whatever, because these coins, the meme coins don't last long.
It just feels a little bit crazy that
it is.
The line for crypto is right. Don't listen to these banks because they've got no idea what they're doing. You should put all of your savings into Doge.
I'm not quite sure if it's they don't know what they're doing. I think it's more they're trying to stop you from having control over your money. So the Doge and the Bitcoin people are like, oh yeah, come us, it's decentralized and stuff. And you're like, well, yeah, but there's I mean, the thing is, most coins are pointless. Like, Bitcoin is utterly pointless. It's a storage mechanism at best, and it's a shit one at that. Utterly shit. It takes so much power. It's like one transaction per second if you're lucky, and it costs like 20 quid to do a transaction currently. I think it might have gone down. I don't know. But you're paying could you imagine when they're like, oh yeah, you can pay for everything with Bitcoin, your pizzas, your coffees, your lattes, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll have a mocha frappuccino or whatever the cool kids have. And I'll pay with Bitcoin. They're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you swipe your Bitcoin card over or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, let's wait 30 minutes for it to go through, and it'll be like 20 quid to actually do that transaction. Nobody's going to want to use it. It's pointless.
No.
But some of them, like IOTA is one that I actually think is quite useful. So for that one, and again, I'm not giving financial advice here. I'm a peasant. I don't know what I'm talking about. But IOTA isn't. It's not like one of those coins where it just exists for the sake of existing, like Dogecoin and stuff like that. Although to be fair, Doge did originally kind of exist to say, hey, you can kind of use it as a tipping mechanism online. So I think Reddit at some point was going to implement it. So it was like, hey,
there was a tip bot, and you could tip people.
Exactly, yeah. And I kind of understand that. That's quite good because it's kind of like a generic monetary system for the internet and doing that sort of stuff. But anyway, let's forget about Doge. So IOTA. That one there was designed for machine-to-machine transactions. So not really consumer transactions. Theoretically, you could do it on there. But it's more a case of, so when we're in the automated world of like cars that can drive themselves and fridges that will reorder food and stuff like that, you can effectively have these machines do transactions with each other really, really quick without any fees using the Tangle. And also because it's not a let's not go down the rabbit hole too much, but it uses a like a graphing sort of system, which is quantum resistant, because quantum, technically, you know, kind of like, oh, Bitcoin, it's you can't crack Bitcoin. But when quantum computers actually become a thing, you probably can. You can probably just like mess with the blockchain, because you can, the way it'll all decode stuff, you can do it in massively parallelized. Anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole there. But IOTA actually is trying to solve the problem of, well, how do we efficiently, on low-powered machines, do transactions between things? And that's one of the reasons why IOTA never really spikes in value. It's like they can come out with like partnerships left, right, and center. They can come out with new tech and people using it, and its price never changes. If anything, it goes down. It's like good news, gone down 10%. But I see that as a very useful technology going forward, because there's a lot of interest in it, and given Internet of Things and automation, it is a problem that needs solving, I think. I mean, you can't use your Visa cards to do machine-to-machine thing. It just doesn't work that way. So this is kind of like a new era of machine transactional stuff, and I can see the point in that. But the ones that should just exist to exist, it's pointless. They can trade numbers. I mean, that's all your bank is, really. I mean, when they say, oh, we're doing quantitative easing and they get to print more money, well, they're not actually really printing more. Well, they might actually print some more money. But they really just add some zeros onto a back end somewhere. It's like, don't add too many zeros. Goodness, don't want to break the economy. But imagine raising the bug for that. Oh, you idiot. Your data migration last night, you added another zero on. Crash the economy. Let's reset the simulation. But yeah, this isn't actually a Twitch stream about cryptocurrencies. But yeah, that's the thing. But anyway, Shib, yeah, I thought it's a punt. It's a punt. To us, I'm only in it for the memes. You know what I'm talking about, Kate. Diamond hands.
Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah,
invest everything.
That's it. Yeah, eat some crayons. Right, yeah. So the card and the thing on the inter whatever it's called, Interop. Because I'm gonna be using a why. Let me just double check the thing with the thing. Resharper. Control Shift N. CTRL. Shift. What's N? Shift Control Alt. No, it's not Shift Control Alt N. You use Resharper, don't you? Or Rider?
Yeah.
What's the shortcut to find in files?
I use a different shortcut though.
Oh no, I've probably done that.
In files.
Yeah, when you want to find files with a name.
It's either Control T or Control N if you want to just like find shit.
Oh, it's just Control N. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's what I was looking for before. I was like, why can't I search stuff? I thought it was Control Shift.
I use a different keyboard layout. I
use
the IntelliJ
one. Yeah. Well, I think I've got that set. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. I flick between them.
I've done so little C-sharping over the past, nearly a year. My brain has just like started moving stuff into the bin.
It started to become a bit smooth, has it? You had to blow it up a bit more.
It's got a bit smooth, yeah.
It's smooth.
Yeah, I need to.
I can't remember where it is, but anyway, I'm sure I'm on the Intelli idea, whatever they call it. Right, so this method here acts as the entry point. So on here, I'm going to want to make an event for that. On card used. Is it going to be on card used? Yeah, let's go with on card used for now. I'm going to put that in the game layer. I don't even remember. See, this is the problem. I've been away from it for what, like 5 days? Maybe a week? Can't remember where everything lives. Don't have a clue. Oh, maybe I moved stuff into folders here. I can't remember. Oh, another thing I did as well. I've added the notion of I has unique ID. I was going to call it I view ID, but I thought no, because that ties it to the view. But it is effectively an ID that you use in the view. Because when the card's in the... Ooh,
yeah.
about that. When the card's in the view, because of the way that the whole interaction happens between Blazor and the front end, I can't really pass back, or I can't really pass down to the front end a C# object, and I can't pass that back. So to kind of get around that, I give everything a unique ID, and I use that ID with a type to know, oh, well, the type is unit, so I look in the units array for the level or list, and I go, oh, I've got the ID, get me that one. So that's what that does. And yes, I need to go back to the events. Level. You're not gonna have a card events. Cards. I'm not sure if on card use is gonna be too generic. I might need to make something slightly less generic, but we'll just work with this for now. And because I've been in JavaScript primarily recently at work, I'll probably try to type JavaScript out, going, why isn't this working? What's going on here? And some people might be wondering, hey, sorry, what, Kate?
I was just going to say, totally unrelated, I really, really want a pizza.
My goodness. Have you got one in the freezer?
I
No?
want a Domino's.
Oh, nobody actually likes Domino's pizzas, though. It's just the dipping sauce. It's like...
Yeah. Honestly, I can't even taste it, so it's totally pointless.
You still haven't got your taste back.
I'm having a real issue with it. Like, I just keep eating because I just...
I can't even right now. Well, go get a Domino's then. Go get a Domino's. I haven't had a pizza in years.
It's like 20 quid on something I can't even taste.
Oh, but you don't actually pay 20 quid, do you, with the deals and stuff? It's always...
Yeah.
It's a bit cheaper. But it's your call. It's your call.
Oh, it's just a waste. It's a waste of money, but I just really want like a pepperoni passion.
I quite like the if you get the meter, I think it is, but then take off one of the things and put on the tandoori chicken. That's really good.
Just struggling.
Well, you say that inspiring. I'm just leaving it on Binance. The thing is, with a lot of the cryptos that might, like, they do their data migrations, don't they? Where they go, oh, well, we've got the new version of it out, and they migrate all the data, and it's like, I can't be bothered with that. They do the migration for me, and also because it's liquid that I can actually do trading with it. Whereas if it's on a hardware wallet, it's a faff to put it off, put it back on. You're completely right. For security, you should always have stuff on your own wallet or ledger, whatever. But I'm a complete moron, and I do not do that. And for anybody who is wondering, why is this an interface? Why is this model an interface? But that one there is a model. Oh, why have we done that? That's because we could potentially have different implementations of cards. Because a card just guarantees that it has a description, has some effects, and has a unique ID and a card type. But the actual implementation of that could be completely different, because it might have different actual stuff under the hood. I think most of them I end up streamlining it a bit anyway. So rather than, I think it's always called data or something. Data. No, effect card's a bad one. So yeah, so data there. So I think I kind of went with the convention of data, but you could potentially not have that and call it whatever you wanted. But anyway, we ended up going down the rabbit hole there, but that's why it's an interface. Because it only guarantees a certain part of the schema. Whereas your concrete implementations could have more data. That's up to you to cast it if you need that extra data. Right, what was I doing? I was raising the event. So, on code use card unit. It's not necessarily always going to be a unit though. Right, I'm going to change that. On card used on unit. On card used on unit? Yeah, that'll do for now. That'll do. Oh yeah, Mt. Gox. Yeah, I mean it can happen. It can happen. Exchanges can get hacked. That's the thing. I'm running the risk. I'm just going. Hey, just please don't get hacked. But it could happen. But the other thing is, I mean, I've not got a huge investment. I've invested what I could deem expendable at the time. Don't get me wrong, I'd be sad to lose it, but it's not gonna be the end of the world. I think the problem is when people have got an awful lot of money in there, like with 6 digits, and you're like, whoa, what is going on there? Because when you have that sort of money, unless you're a hedge fund person, you don't need access to all that. Like, you don't need that liquidity. Is that even a word? You can just kind of go, well, look, I'll leave 10% on there, and I'll take 90% into a ledger or wallet, whatever. Right, on card use. Let's go over to the thing. I want to try and I was gonna say by 10 o'clock. That's definitely not gonna happen now. But I was gonna want to try and get the card usable and applied by 10. But that's with the ship sailed on that one. Interop Proxy Razor. Right. This one here. Event system, and we'll inject in the event system. Oh, actually, we've got the game app. We can get off the game app. And some people might be wondering, hey, why are you using the game app here and not the event system directly? Surely it's better to have the event system so it's clear what the dependency is. And that's a very valid point. It's a valid point that I'm arguing with myself. But because I need the game application to actually get access to the level and some other stuff, like I'm getting the game state, I'm getting the level. I could inject all these ones in independently, but for the moment it was just simpler to just add the game app in. But because of the way things are coded, I can refactor it simply. We're not moving mountains, and that's what the key takeaways from all this is. Like the level of iteration you get from doing it this way can kind of counteract a lot of the negatives. And to be honest, I don't really think there are many negatives anyway. Apart from the learning curve. Once you know how to do code this way, well, from my perspective, I don't know why would I want to do it another way. I mean, if you've got a car which is very reliable and travels very well and is fuel efficient, why would you want to? Why would you want to go like with a Flintstones mobile? I'm not saying that the other approaches are worse, but this is a very flexible approach. Anyway, what was the event called? Event unit. Have I copied it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh no! I need to add the constructor. Was that you going AFK to order a pizza?
No.
Oh, willpower there. Willpower.
No, that was me just still wrangling with the idea of going to getting food.
I had a kebab many months ago. I haven't had a kebab for years, and TP was like, "Oh, have a kebab." I think he was around here. He was like, "Oh yeah, let's have a kebab." So I had a kebab with some chili sauce and mayo. And you know, like those horrible chips you get, but it's pretty good with the kebab.
Oh, yes, lovely. Now I'm gonna get up nice and early tomorrow. Go for a bit of a walk. Go and pick up some Amazon parcels from a locker in the Yarndale. Get myself a bacon butty.
Bacon
from
butty.
Greg's. Yeah.
Lost Greg's. I quite like the Greg nut, if that's still a thing.
Oh yeah.
I quite enjoyed
nice.
that.
Yeah,
they're good then. And you're 100% right, 1,000% right. Inspiring. Yeah, what you lost at that time is now vastly more. Was it like somebody bought a pizza with Bitcoin? And that pizza effectively cost them like $500,000 or something? But you could have gone the other way. It might have been worth like 0.1p now. You just can't tell with the market. But I don't want to go back down that rabbit hole again, but I seriously don't think Bitcoin has a large future ahead of it. I mean, it is where it is because it's like a commodity platform, like gold. People just pile money into it, and it's a static asset. And the price kind of just goes up. It doesn't go down that much. And if it does, they can... Let's face it, there's bots out there which are kind of dumping and pumping, and they can kind of manage what the price is on that stuff. I don't want to say the manipulation thing, but it is pretty much managed. Not manipulated, managed very well by automated systems. So they just use it as a commodity. But the amount of power that it uses up, the inefficiencies in it, the cost of transacting. I mean, don't get me wrong, when you transfer millions, it doesn't matter. But why stick with that platform, which is just crippled under its own weight, when you can do something else? Because it's like a first gen. And there's like fourth gen, like cryptos right now, which solve the problem far better and have smart contracts and have NFTs, which I think are rubbish anyway, and other things. Right, anyway, that fires that event. So I need a system to handle that event. Should I have an on? I don't know. I don't know what to call the system.
It's the sheer wastefulness of like some of the original ways of mining cryptocurrency is just we just smash numbers together.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things about IOTA. You don't mine that. There's no mining with IOTA. Literally, when you do a transaction, you verify 2 other transactions while you're doing it. There's no mining, so the more people using the network, the more transaction throughput you get. I don't agree with that inspiring. I think that at the moment, when Bitcoin fails, and I'm pretty sure it will at some point, it will drag the rest of the coins down. But at some point, people just go, oh, well, we'll move on to all the other ones. Yeah, there's not, but digital banking's it's a different beast entirely. Like if you look at MasterCard and Visa, the way that they transact, the way that the infrastructure works, it's all very different. I'm not going to get into the whole decentralized versus centralized financial system. I'm not qualified enough to have a good debate on that. But the way that the future of machine transactions work, which need to be extremely fast. I mean, faster than MasterCard and Visa and stuff like that. And they need to be able to take a lot smaller amounts. Like you can only go so low with fiat currencies. I mean, like once you're down to a penny, you don't really transact less than a penny. I mean, they even round pennies and stuff. Wasn't there a Superman movie about that? I can't remember. But anyway, I think that there is a benefit to other coin types, because again, Bitcoin doesn't have a functional purpose. I don't even know what that is. But I don't think Bitcoin has a purpose. It was more of a, again, this is my opinion, but it was more of a sort of, hey, let's try decoupling ourselves from banks and see what happens. And then when people actually used it, and it just couldn't handle it. It's like when people make their own MMO at home, and we'll make an MMO, and they make it and they put it online, and you have 5 people on it and it crashes, and like, whoa, we didn't expect to get this popular. And I think it's the same.
Oh, easy on that.
So yeah, I
think if Bitcoin like takes 20 odd plus minutes to verify a transaction and costs 20 odd pounds like to actually make a transaction,
yeah,
it's like what? I mean, what's the point? Unless you're like some mega high roller dealing in like.
Well, that's it. When you're dealing in millions, I mean, literally, you will have whales who will be trading like 50 million at a time, and like 20 quid then's nothing.
Oh my god, this is literally just pure ass. I'm inside a mountain and I don't know where I'm going.
What is this in GeoGuessr or is this?
Oh, no, Final Fantasy.
Oh, right, that's okay because I thought I don't want you being sick. But the average Bitcoin transaction fee is $23.
Well, how long is a Bitcoin transaction with it? What can I do with it?
1 minute to 60 minutes for a transaction.
I'm not going to buy a car with Bitcoin.
No.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing. People do, yes, but not machines. I mean, you could argue that we could hook up we could give like an automated car a Visa card, but I think Visa's max. What's Visa's TPS? No, what's the transactions? For a second. Because again, with Visa, because you're transferring fiat, you can only go as low as the currency that's being used. So let's say in dollars, you can go as low as 1 cent on a transfer. If you want to go lower than that, you can't really do that.
Oh,
There you go. So
Oh,
Visa
what?
can handle 1,700 transactions per second,
yeah,
roughly. And again, I'm just taking this off Dr. Google. Take it with a pinch of salt.
1,700 per second sounds very
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, but
Very, very old data, that.
I don't know. But, I mean, it's fast enough for us humans. But if you imagine when you got like your fridge, your phone, your weather machine, your solar panels, all these different things. Because the idea, I think, is like when you go to, let's say in an ideal world, you go to deliver, you want to send a package somewhere. You basically put a sticker on there which has all the information about the finances that are available for that package. And then as it gets put on the place to go to a shipping terminal, it gets scanned and some of the money goes off. And let's say that it trades some information about the weather that it's accrued on the way with something else. There's those like different information that it can transfer to other things to kind of get money and pass money. I'm doing a really rubbish example here, but the idea is that as it keeps going through this process, the money will keep getting deducted off it. So it's kind of like a prepaid card, but for a minuscule amount of data. But if you think about sensors, like if you wanted to know what's the weather like in an area, you'd effectively have that sensor relay information. Like it could give the information to a car, which would deliver it to a server at some point, because it's just carrying that information within the currency as it goes around. But that's the pipe dream of it all, anyway. But that's the thing. It's not meant for that. That's what I'm trying to get at. Don't get me wrong. Some cryptos are customer focusing, like Nano. But in generally, the ones which are like IOTA, which is one of the main ones that I actually think has a purpose, that is not aimed at people. It's not really meant for you to save things, or it's not meant to be like a storage mechanism for your savings or a transaction mechanism to buy a coffee. It's supposed to be used for sub-cent sort of, or sub-pence transactions. Lots of little transactions which contain data. There's like, here's some data and the fee. And then they pay the fee, they get the data, they pass it on somewhere else or whatever. Because I think one of the ideas that they came out with was effectively, I think it's called Trinity or something. Or maybe that's the wallet. I can't remember, but it was basically like, implicitly as part of the currency, you get a compute amount of power. And you can kind of use that for stuff. I can't remember. But the main benefit of it is the way that it's, because it's using a DAG approach rather than a typical blockchain one, it's a lot more secure and resilient to cracking and stuff. But also, it's the more people use it, the faster it gets, and it's very energy efficient. Although there are some even more energy efficient cryptos out there right now. Well, if you want to save your human money, your organic money or whatever, you can put that in a bank. I mean, you could put it in gold. You could buy magic beans. You can put your money wherever you want. But it's like, if I said to you, okay, look, you can put your money in a bank, or you can go and turn it into toilet roll. Nobody's going to want to turn it into toilet roll. What's the point of that? But
well, actually, if you were saying that a year ago, you'd be a very rich person indeed.
Maybe Bezos does that. Yeah, well, they all play by different rules, and like inflation affects things differently. And again, I'm not a financial expert. I'm a bit of a simpleton in regards to all this. But as somebody who works with technology quite a lot, I can see that there is a problem of how do we manage all these automated machines, all kind of communicating and sending data and paying for all that data and stuff. And that's why I think that there is a solution there for IOTA or another. I'm not saying that IOTA is the only one. There are a couple of others trying to get in that ecosystem, but IOTA is one of the main ones. But because it's not trying to wow people, it's not trying to get like consumer focus. A lot of people don't look at it, so its price doesn't change. But the main ones are. But again, it's not about you. It's not about humans. It's not for you. Well, IOTA isn't for humans. Your Bitcoin and stuff is, all for whatever stuff you want to do with that. But a Bitcoin itself doesn't have any. It's like gold though. It doesn't have any implicit value. It's just whatever everybody agrees its value is. But to machines, they got their own systems then. So I think that it's like that two-tier approach, that the machines will transact in different ways to us, and in different, because it's less than a dollar. A lot of the time it'll be like in 0.00001 of, let's say, a currency, and we don't deal that low. It's slightly different, and also because the data will be contained within the currency bits as well. It's a data transfer mechanism as well as a payment mechanism, whereas ours isn't that. It's just we just pay. I mean, you might have a reference or something. I don't know. Well, yeah, that's it. That's my opinion. Yeah, Bitcoin. It was more an idea. It's like somebody said, "Hey, let's see what decentralized currency can do," and it sparked a conversation in wider society. And I mean, it has affected how banks run, and it has affected how financials are kind of seen on both stock market and regular banks and things. But Bitcoin, I think, was just the first to market. I don't think it's going to be the lasting one.
I think people should stop looking at cryptocurrencies as get-rich-quick schemes. Doesn't really help the matter.
Well,
it's like, oh yeah,
to some extent though, it is. It's a pump and dump scheme.
Pile onto Flubel coin.
That's
it's just a pile of pump and dump schemes.
That's it. You've hit the nail on the head. It is. Some of them are Ponzi schemes. The rest of them are pretty much pump and dump. Like Dogecoin is a pump and dump scheme. I mean, if you look at
that was just a joke. Like, it wasn't even meant for that. And then people were like, "Oh my god, I've put all my money in this. Why is it functionally unsound?" And the guy's like, "I made it in 2 hours. What are you guys smoking?"
I mean,
nothing made in 2 hours, or is going to be any good.
Oh my god, Kate! I'm not sure if you noticed, but JavaScript just entered the chat.
Yeah, I know. I was referring to JavaScript. Yeah,
JavaScript. Yeah.
Yeah, I made it in 5 days. It's fucking crap. But look where we are.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're right. It is a. I mean, if you look at the charts and things as well, you can see when the bots come in. There's like the same lines will always be happening, the same patterns where they go, oh, we go quickly dump it, and then pump it back up again, and then everybody's trying knife catch as things go down and stuff, and it's just like it's semi-rigged. I've said it. It's semi-rigged because the general person doesn't have enough money to cause a change in the market. Like you as an individual can't get through buy or sell walls. You can't. Only like the big players can do that. So if you wanted to kind of go, oh well, actually, hey, let's say you've got billions in a crypto, and you go, well, I want to get more. Well, best way to do that: devalue it temporarily, buy more, and then shoot the value back up again. And then if you want to sell off the surplus or whatever, when you've got large amounts of cash, you can pretty much make it do whatever you want. And when they got bots doing this as well, where they're going up 10%, down 10% or whatever, it's just all over the place. But yeah, I don't know. I think that there is going to be a long-lasting effect of cryptocurrency. I don't think cryptocurrency is going to go away, but I think we're going to break that Bitcoin being synonymous with cryptocurrency. I think it'll be one of those things we look back on when people go, oh, do you remember that old Roman currency that people used to use that isn't used around the world anymore? Or like the gods of old. Do you remember Zeus? He was a cool guy. Right, what am I actually doing? Event system. Is it an event system? It's an event system. There was me saying by 10 o'clock I want to have this thing done. No, not. Oh, what was the name of the event?
Oh my god, I totally forgot there was an X-Files on in the background.
Oh, what's happening? Give us an update.
It was kind of a rubbish one. As a basketballer, it wasn't the best.
Doesn't ring any bells.
I'm watching another one now. 3 of a kind.
How I react to event. Considering I wrote this thing, I've completely forgot what it is and what it does. It's just
The way.
yeah.
That
This
is
is the way.
that is how things work.
I think I mentioned on one of the previous ones, like in places I've worked, we have this like ongoing joke that quite often I'll have a problem, I'll Google it, and I'm not sure if the way I Google stuff is semi-unique. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm not sure if it's semi-unique because I'll end up coming to a post which is almost identical to what I need, and I open it and it's me asking a question from like 5 years ago, and I'm like, oh, past me's helping future me, brilliant. Right, so I'm gonna need to access the. Actually, I don't need to access anything yet. I just need to apply the effect. Oh, I will need to do the stat repopulating thing. Yes, istat populator. So the stat populator's job is to effectively repopulate stats, because as we said previously, the stats are more transient data. The effects are what are used to calculate the stats. So if you've got an effect which is +1 intelligence, and you have a racial bonus which is +10 intelligence, then you know that if you combine those two effects, you get the stat plus 12 intelligence total, because +11 and +1 would be 12. So we kind of, once we add another effect on, we want to redo the population of the stats, so we'll refresh everything. And this comes with some other side effects, because you also like when you regen the stats, health, for example, would get reset, and we probably don't want that to be reset. So we might store that, cache that, and then. And again, this can be a layered approach in the real world. This isn't really real world implementation. No real world person's going to make a game in Blazor with a game engine and ECS and stuff. But here we are. Yeah, I mean, if the purpose was to just transfer data fast, I mean, we can solve that a different way. But there's a lot of use cases which I think still aren't 100% solved, really, in like the computational. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again. We spent enough time on that. Right, so I'm going to need the stat populator. I'm going to need the unit, and I'm going to need to apply the effect. So card and data.card card.effect. So let's get the effects off the card effect. Then we want to apply them to. Right, it's just not enumerable. So then we want the unit, which is going to be event data unit. And that's another good thing about using the events this way. You can, oh, excuse me. When you use events this way, they should ideally provide you all the information you need within the event. It's not always going to be the case, but if you can provide as much information as needed, you don't need to go hunting down like other bits of information everywhere. It's already there for you with the context, because you've got the event, which is the context, and the data within there, which is how do I resolve this event, or how do I make use of this event. So effects, right. Here's where it's going to get a bit special. So we don't at the moment. If we look in, there's no effect. We get active effects, but that's just to read only how to get effects on everything. So if we look at race and race template. Oh, that is the race is implicitly a template. That has effect. Go to class template. Not effect.
I'm going to nip to the co-op, get myself some headache tablets and some food.
Okay, well, I'll see you in 10 or 15 then. Safe journey.
Yes. Thank
you. So yeah, anyway, the point is that effects are stored on the things that have unique effects, such as a race, a class, a weapon, armor, various other bits. But a unit itself doesn't have any effects stored against it. So now we want to actually have that notion. So let's say, for example, here we go, right, public list. So let's have it as an I list here. There is some benefits to having it as a list rather than an I list. It gets slightly boring, but effectively when it's trying to optimize at the compiler level, it can kind of work out that a list functions in a specific way, so you can optimize on for each slightly better. That's definitely the case within Unity, and other engines stuff optimize differently. But A list, if it's a concrete list, it can potentially perform better, but you lose the ability to have other implementations. So we don't care about performance here too much, though. So what should we call it? So we basically want a way to store all effects that have been manually applied. Card effects, maybe. And at the moment, I'm thinking that I'm not going to bother storing the card with it. Because I might change my mind on that. But right now I'm thinking, when you apply an effect to a unit, you just want to see what effect have I got. You don't necessarily care where they came from. So if you imagine you're 20 levels in, and you've had like 50 cards applied, you don't really want to see every single card that you use. You just want to see, well, what's been applied to me. So that's why I'm going to go with just the card effects there. Actually, I'm going to make that a list, because then I can do the add range thing, which is slightly faster. And I'm not going to use another implementation here. So that's fine. And let's set that to a new list. And I'm not going to have that settable, actually. Actually, I will leave it settable for now, only for later on when we do serialization stuff. Potentially, it could be more valuable being done that way. Because it's easier to serialize when it's a public setter. But I don't think AB's really going to override that. They're just going to add to it. Right, okay, so go back to here now. Got card effect. Add range. Add range. Because I haven't really coded that much since COVID kicked off, like a year now. My fingers are like elbows. Try to type a simple sentence, and I'm typing all over the place. Fingers are touching buttons that should never be touched. So we put in the card effects, and that's pretty much it. At this point, that's it. We've applied an effect to a unit, so the unit has the extra effect. It's not been correctly applied yet, though. It's on there, but we need to rebuild the stats of that. So. And also, I'm assuming here that the card that is going to be used is always going to be a effect card. Or an item. Oh, actually. Yeah, I can't make that assumption because it's an item card. So we need to apply it once. Yeah, that's an interesting one. But anyway, because there's different card types, you only really get to use like a few different card types on a unit. Like, you wouldn't use a trap card, not that we even have trap cards yet, but you wouldn't use a card which is meant for a tile on the floor on a unit. You wouldn't do that. So anyway. So let's cache the health. Unit, and we'll pass in the unit as well. Unit dot. Right, that's dot health. And we're not really using it at the moment, but I'll cache it anyway. Magic. Just in case we do end up using it later for some mechanism. So really, the health and magic are the ones which kind of get manually altered. Because normally we for the most part, see stats as read-only variables. But in this case, health's kind of a muddied one, because although it is generated originally as kind of like a dynamic one based off the max health, really it's its own thing. So anyway, that's why we treat it differently. Right. So then we just want to do the stats populator. Stat populator dot. What is that? Stats is. That needs to that typo needs to be changed. So this will be unit dot stats. And unit dot active effect. Right, and now at this point, let's go to the array. This raises an interesting problem, because currently get active effects, if we go into this, it's an extension method on an I character. A character. And he goes, right, okay, get the race effects, get the class effect, get an equipment effect, return them. It does not factor in the card effects that we've added. So we need to add another extension method to handle that. Oh, actually, we've already got unit extensions. Let's just add it in there. Right, what was that one called? It's effectively going to be the same sort of thing here. Let's get unit effect. And it's going to be on I unit. No, just a unit. Unit. Cool. Yes, whatever. Right, so at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go character effect is going to be unit dot get active effect. Come on, unit. What is the problem with that? Oh, what utter buffoon! It should be in there. There we go. Them squirrely brackets. So get active effect. Cool. That gets us the active effect. Then we want the unit effect, which is going to factor in right. So that one there. This is unit card effect. Actually, maybe we should just do. No, it's the add range. That. So we add that in. Cool. Then we do the same thing here. Add range. Cool. And at that point, we just return that as non-enumerable. So that effectively gives us what we want. We get the card effect and we get the active effect, which are the composition of all the other bits as well. So, take that, go back. That one. Get unit effect. Cool. And let me just go to the unit builder for a minute. I'll try to remember the stats bit. So the stats. Going down here. Because there's a stat builder in here as well. Stat computer. Yes. No. I want to go down there. No, go back. That's no. What? Oh, listen. Find usages. Okay. My shortcuts just seem to be completely broken. Find usage. Shift F12. Oh. That's not where I parked my car. Anyway. So. That's going to compute start. Why is it only passing that? Use that. That should be the same thing. Right, let me go back to that one. Oh, yeah. I need the stat computer. What an idiot. I mean, I could use the stat populator. Kind of. Because that kind of does the same thing. The stat computer, though, is more... just generates you a stat thing based off that, which is probably going to be easier to just mentally deal with right now. Rather than trying to repopulate on the existing thing. New stats. Cool, and then we go new stats dot health. New stat dot magic. There we go. So we've rejigged all the stats and stuff, and we've kept the health what it was. So if they had 10 health before, but the max was, I don't know, 50, they've now still got 10. And we apply that to the unit. The unit.stats equals new stats. Job done. I'm just gonna have a little drink. Oh, of semi-cold tea there. Right, let me just quickly check the Discord, because I seem to have lots of messages there, and I don't know why. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. That's fine. Right. So, then we can call that in here. Before shooter starts on the unit. Vendor.unit. That should pretty much be it then. Oh, we need to take the card out of the hand. So we go with oh, we would need yeah, let's do it here. We also need the game state. And again, I know I keep harping on about dependency injection, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. The thing is, I would normally be doing, if we weren't in a COVID world, I would normally be doing quite a lot of code. Because I couldn't be bothered coding when COVID kicked off. I just ended up playing games a bit, and I would normally play games with friends, which is what led on to streaming. But I do quite enjoy doing code, but it can be quite boring to watch. But I don't know, it's a difficult one because while I do want the code and stuff to be semi-entertaining, at the same time I want it to be slightly educational. And for something to be educational, generally it's a balancing act between making the information useful and quick to absorb, but also having enough depth for it to be useful as to why you need that information. And I don't know if you're a developer, it might not be of much use to you, but if somebody was a developer, and the skill set of developers is varying. I mean, and it's not necessarily correlated with age or experience either. Like somebody might have been a developer for 30 years and they might be utterly awful at it. You have somebody who's only been developing for 3 years and they're brilliant at it. But patterns and practices are often overlooked. And until you see somebody, and that's what the point I was about to get on now, until you've seen somebody do something a certain way, you wouldn't necessarily understand why something should be done a certain way. It's like if you imagine a time before wheels. People didn't even think that you needed wheels. What are wheels? We just carry things. But then some bright spark went, hey, caveman, have you seen this thing I've got with wheels? And then the game changed. And because we're using dependency injection here, I mean, I've watched some. There's some other streamers that I've watched on and off who do code, and this isn't a snipe at them, but from a generally singletons and statics classed as an anti-pattern. But it swings around. People quite often like that. They're comfortable with it, but it has downsides. Dependency injection removes almost all the downsides and provides a lot of upsides as well. So I can inject this wherever I want, but I don't have the downsides of a singleton or a static pattern, although it is still treated the same way. But anyway, that's that. Dependency injection is super important, but you can't achieve dependency injection without inversion of control, which is what that is. Oh yes, I'm rubbish at that as well. But I have got an Akai APC Key 25 right in front of me, and the Yamaha keyboard nearby, and Fruity Loops Studio somewhere. I very much enjoyed trying to make game music, but I have like the barest tendril of music theory knowledge. I'm trying to use that to make music without having any sort of competency in playing instruments. I mean, it's one thing knowing, right, I know what keys are in the scale, I can use them to try and make a melody or something. That's something. I mean, just knowing that is probably on the path to greatness. But there's so much of an uphill struggle going from that to actually improvising and knowing stuff. But yeah, you should stream that. I'd watch if you knew what you were doing with a digital audio workstation like Fruity Loops or whatever the billions of other ones are. Oh, I'd watch somebody who knew what they were doing, just making stuff. Right. So yeah, that does that. That's yes, the game state. We need the game state here because we do game state dot play cards, and we will remove the card. Now, we could potentially push this responsibility into another system. And that might be a valid thing to do, because you might end up having multiple systems that all kind of do stuff, and at the end you want to do something. But then we'd have to start adding priorities and make sure that they were all kind of operating in the right order. I'm going to bypass that concern for the moment. And also, you might notice over the past few days my voice has got a bit hoarse. It's just slightly scratchy. So if you hear me coughing in the background a lot, it's got too scratchy, and I need to reset it. Right, so that's that. Cool. I should effectively do what we want there. So, yes, right, okay. So at the moment, yes, it would do what we want. But the problem here is that items are treated slightly differently. So to throw a spanner in the works, if I was applying an effect like have 10 int, well, let's do that. Let's do that actually. Where's the player hand generated? It'll be in the game application. Right, so we create the team there. That'll be dynamic later on, but for the moment we hard code it. Set the play cards. So now we want to make some cards. So what I'm going to do is, and for anybody who's unfamiliar, I'm using yield returns here because they effectively allow me to like lazy. You could iterate. Well, it doesn't really matter. I could have just built up a list and returned them. This is slightly less code, and you could potentially lazy load it. Like only pull out one, and it goes there. They're really useful for lazy lists or infinite lists. Well, infinite enumerables, but enumerables. Let's not go down there. My goodness. Right. So I want an effect card. And an effect card takes a name locale. Right, so this is going to be I don't know what we're going to. Let's up the strength. Yeah, let's up strength, and we'll call it invigorating strength. I mean, we rename these things later. It doesn't really matter. The power of this card. No. Again, we can come up with something more wordy later. We're prototyping at the moment. And here's the effects we want to apply. So, new effect, and within that, well, actually, let me just put the effect up here. So a new effect, and it's going to be a new effect. Effect type. And again, at this point, people might be going, "Oh, why aren't you using an enum?" It's addressed earlier on. If anybody's got a question on that, by all means ask. This is going to be strength. Strength bonus amount. See, we've got percentage as well. Welcome back, Kate. Yeah, no worries, inspiring. Thanks for being here. So we've got the notion of an amount or a percentage. So if you were going to add one amount to strength, you'd literally go from 10 to 11. If you're adding a percentage, it might be 10%. So you would go from 10 to 11 with 10% being added on. With 20%, it'd be 12. Or anyway, you get the difference between percentages and amounts. Potency, the amount of change. So we want to add 1. And we don't have any requirements. So actually, it'll just be an array of requirements, which is 0. Because that takes up less memory. There we go. And that can just be use that type. There we go. Cool. So now, when the user starts, they'll have an effect card and an item card. but both will be treated slightly differently in terms of how the effect can be used. Well, the card can be used. So, for example, when you're using an item card, it will generally be something that you use and is discarded. So, a potion, the potion effect. Actually, maybe it'll be easier if I just show. Show, don't tell. That's what they say, isn't it? Watch it blow up. Errors. Error. Because I'd ideally like to get this working, and then I can close this off for the night. Right, so pause. As you can see, the text maybe overlaps a bit there, but it's not the end of the world. That'll maybe be a quick little fix. Ribbon thing. Probably like Z.
Hello.
Hello. Go for 10. No, 30.
I'm gonna mute for a bit. I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, that's you enjoy that. I don't know why that's behind that, but anyway, it doesn't matter too much. So we got the notion of an effect card and an item card. Now, plus 20 health does not mean we want to permanently give the user 20 health. That would be max health. If we wanted to apply that, that would be an effect, which is plus 20 max health. What we actually want to do is just say, hey, go to the variable health and add 20 to it right now. So if they're on 10 health, put them up to 30. But to do that, we don't want to add it to the card effect. We want to add it directly to the stat. And that's how an item differs from an effect card. I feel that I've probably gone round about the houses with that, but that's what I was trying to allude to before. So, if we go back to this handler, this one, and we might end up, no, that's not it. This one, we might end up dragging some of this out into a new class. Like we might use a strategy pattern here or something. So you basically go, let's say you got a load of different strategies for handling cards on a unit, and you basically go, right, okay, well I've got the card type, and maybe the unit type, maybe it can only be applied to certain units. So you go, well, okay, let's see, do we have a strategy for this? And then you'll return the strategy, and then you just give it the data and it does it. So there's lots of different patterns that you can use for these sort of things. But the main focus is these patterns make life easier, because once you know the pattern, you can apply it anywhere. I go back to the wheel analogy. If you haven't seen a wheel before, you won't know to apply a wheel to a situation. You'll just carry your bricks everywhere, not put them in a little fancy wheelbarrow. Right, so here, let's go for my item card to unit. Again, the way we apply an item card will be different to how we apply an effect card. Like effect card to unit. So what we've written here is effectively doing an effect card. Let's just copy that, paste that in there. Cool. Actually, no, that bit there can stay in the process, because we're always going to want to remove that. And we'll pass the unit through. Actually, no, the card first. And this should be an item card. Card. Unit. Right. So unit, card, unit. Right, so at this point, we can just basically go if event data.card is item card, item card. Also, I could probably use the pattern matching stuff, because with switch statements they've allowed you to use this sort of thing in there. But for the moment, I'm just gonna keep it like this. We can turn it into a switch and we got more than if else if. And data.card is effect card. Only because I'll let the IntelliSense do this for me. Card as effect card event data.unit. So it's going to say, hey, you know this bit here? Oh, there it is. You see that green line there? There you go. It replaces the pattern for me, because I can never remember the syntax. We don't want to call that card, we want to call that effect card. There we go. So that's kind of shorthand for is as sort of approach. Apply effect card unit, and that should be an effect card, not an item card. Right, on this one here, this will be an item card. Item card, unit, unit, and right. So what do we want to do? We want to. What potions would we have? I might need to think of a better way to handle this, but for now, we'll just work out what type of potion is it. So if we could have multiple effects. Effect in card.effect. Yeah, because that delegates down to the item.effect. Effect type equals effect type types dot health amount. Health restore amount. I didn't realize there's a health restore amount. Maybe that's what I should be using then. Game application. No. What am I doing? Idiot. And I want. Oh. I remember the shortcut for that one. I know the repository's up here somewhere. There we go. Right, minor health potion. Health restore amount. Because also we haven't touched on this yet, but later on the idea is that you might have spells or whatever which apply a temporary effect. So let's say you have a regen which applies plus 10 health every 3 seconds or something. It'd be a health restore with a potency. Does this have a frequency as well? No. Frequencies are in the buff add-on. But effectively you can then have an effect which is a timed effect, which will have a frequency, and you'd have a system which runs all that. Oh, actually, I need to change the. I did that as well. Major reminder. That's fine. Right. That's cool. And no, that one. Yeah. So this is the only one we care about at the moment. So if it's that, go to unit.health. Stat.health. Right, so we need that to be unit.stat health plus potency. And that's why you complain that you can't cast into something. There we go. So that will basically do that, but we might have one which restores magic as well. So we'll do that while we're here as well, just in case. Else if and again, as you can see, this game, I mean, it's only like 60 lines, but that could potentially be 30 lines in one class, 30 lines in another. But the way we write things, we can extract that easily enough. So this could be magic restore amount. So we'll add health restore percentage later. It's up to us, because the fantasy pre-made stuff for OpenRPG provides all these effects. We might not necessarily want to use all the effects or support all the effects. It's up to us which effects we support. So if they don't, we'll just support these ones. There we go. So we can do that there. So apply item, yeah. Apply effect, yeah. Cool. Get the item card, get the unit, unit. Right, okay, so seems like it should be I'm just gonna put an else here, and I'm just gonna return, just in case. So this is kind of like a fail safe, because although at the moment the way the system's designed, nothing would come in here, but there's nothing to stop a developer specifically just calling this method with an event data, which shouldn't be used. And if that's the case, if it's not an item card or an effect card, we don't know how to apply it. I mean, later on we're going to have to add weapon cards and armor cards, so that you can update the armor and things. But we'll get to that later. That'll be for one of the next episodes, where I've got a bit more time. But as we saw, it's super quick here. I added a new card, like a minute? And that's because half the time was spent trying to find the bloody file. Then, then it was trying to add this stuff in here again, not moving mountains. We added a new card type support almost instantly. That's the brilliant thing about this. You're iterating so quickly. Right. I think I need to shave my beard as well. I had to take a face picture thing, a selfie. I had to take a selfie for identification purposes, and I was like, wow, I look like I'm a hobo. So I might have to deal with that at some point. I think it's like one side of my face grows more than the other, so I can end up with like a little, I call it a wingling. But like I haven't got much hair left, but what hair I do have on the right hand side just kind of grows out at an angle. Rather than just going flat and flush with my head, it kind of is like, it's like a window that's been opened outwards. And it looks like, I think they call it bed head, where like, it looks like your hair's been lent on a completely stupid way, so it's sticking up. But it's just that perpetually. And even if I cut it off, it'll grow back at this stupid angle. And I don't know why. It's just torture. It's like, you know what, we're gonna start making your hair vanish at the age of 30. And I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. Like we're gonna keep some hair though, and make it grow in a really erratic way, just to mess with you. Thanks, body. Cheers, bud. And same with my beard. My beard kind of grows a bit more on one side, so I look a bit lopsided. If you see me walking down the street, I'm kind of leaning over to one side. That must be why. Right, that's what I need to bind that though. If we're doing this in Unity or Monogame or any other default setting, we could just get this to deploy automatically, because we could say, I mean, we could still to some extent run it now, because we could just give it the namespace, but we're being a bit more explicit here with the systems, because it's got conventional system loading behind the scenes, so you can basically say, here's a namespace, just go and load all systems within that namespace. Or by default, it looks where the application is, gets the namespace off that, which would be here, and then looks for systems within here. But the systems aren't there, they're in that namespace, so that's why we don't do it that way. Cool. I don't know what's going to happen now. Let's run it and see what happens. It might blow up. Who knows? It could be destined for greatness right now. You know what as well? I just realised I haven't got my own stream up. I might not even be streaming anything. I might not even be showing anything. Inspiring was just too polite to tell me.
Yeah, it's all there.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay then. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks. That's the support I need. Nice. So we got all of this. Let's wait for somebody to get hurt a bit. So, and these cards can be used on anyone. It's just a unit. I could apply that to that if I wanted to. And later on, that'll be half the fun, having debuffs that you can apply to the enemy. Let's have a look. Who's not got much health? Right, we have to. Let's whack it on 8 speed. Let's get people's health down a bit. Right. The next level. Next level. Got reference? Eat! Go next level. Okay. For some reason it's not going to next level. That looks like a bit of a bug. We'll have to work out why that's happening. Let's put 8 speed. Right. Maybe you're right. So at this point, let's have a look at. Right, Gooch is a bit bad there. 72. I don't know what his max is. If I drag this onto him now, what's his health? Oh, it didn't actually do anything, did it? That's rubbish. I want a refund. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Can I apply that one to him? No. Okay, so it's completely shut the bed. But that's fine. That's fine. We can debug this. Now let me just quickly check. Have I injected all the stuff I need to? Yes, game state's coming in. That's computer's coming in. The event
Bought
data.
a tub of salted caramel ice cream and eat a lot.
You are?
Sorry.
I don't even know what it's
tub. I bought a tub of salted caramel ice cream and now I'm going to eat the lot.
Oh my goodness, you maverick. You're just unhinged right now.
No.
Right, I gotta debug. We can apply the strength card off the bat because we can just see strength get added. Or not added, as the case may be. Let's pause. So Gooch has 12 strength. Boof. Is it an iron card? That's an effect card. Yes, apply effect. Let's just make sure. Yeah, we have a card. Yeah, we have a card. Yeah. We have a unit. Yeah, we do. Okay. No, I don't need to go that far in. Step out. Step in. Back. Yes, there's one in there. Is 13? Yeah, that's fine. I'll assume 13 is the right one. So add that. Oh. That float there. Oh no, that got added. That got added. That's fine. Okay, cool. That seemed to get reapplied. So let me just quickly check. So he was on 12. He should now in stats on the actual. Oh god, it's good. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna find it there. But he should have 13. Where's it blow up? Oh, maybe the view isn't refreshing. Maybe that's the case. So good look at him. Oh yeah, see it's gone now. And yeah, it's got 13 strength, so yeah. It's just the view isn't refreshing there. Which is why it blew up. Because the yes, that makes sense. We just do that again. Right, something's gone wrong somewhere. But anyway, that we need to refresh the view state because it doesn't always know that things have refreshed, which is a bit of a problem really. Maybe we should just have a request data refresh or something. Event. What events do we have at the moment for that? What music is actually playing right now? Oh, Zelda. Okay. This is technically kind of breaking the rules of it because I'm gonna have an event here for the view. They shouldn't necessarily know about the view. Oh, actually, it's fine. No, it's not. Not because the system is here. Right, let's just raise a system a on card removed event. On player card remove event. Oh, that needs to be renamed to event too. Really, it's event args, but whatever. And we'll just do public iCard card. That. Right, so we'll raise one of these events in the system bit, wherever the system lives. Might need to inject in the event system as well. Event system, yeah, inject that in. Oof. New. So remove card. On the card would be event data. Because though we've removed the card from the list, we still got the card in memory because it was within there. Because it's a reference type, it'll get cleaned up through the GC. If you're doing this too often, like millions of times a frame, well, hundreds of thousands, it would be a problem, but we're not going to be. That's fine. And if we go to the view which handles the player cards, game card. Oh, maybe it's done at the root level, the in-game one. Yeah, there we go. So it's done there. That should probably be its own component, so it will only re-render itself when needed. But we can change that later. Let's just clock player card removed rather than on player card removed. There you go. Let's go back to that one. On card removed. And we just literally need to have another handler for this. With that. You notice we're constantly just doing this. We're just telling the state to update. We might end up doing more stuff in here later, which is why I've not just made one generic dumping method called that. Because not all events do that. They sometimes do different ones. Okay. Done that. And to be honest, given the time and that my voice is almost gone, I think I call it here, even if it just breaks. There's progress being made there. I need to contact Kuch as well because we were talking from a design perspective. He was thinking about, oh, I might try and think about how you can balance some of this stuff. Right, so you should get 13 in a sec. It used why? Okay, because of the breakpoint. That's a bit anticlimactic, isn't it? 13, there we go. See, been applied. So he will now do more damage. Because he now has more strength, which is factored in when he does his weapon attack thing. So if we do ×8 speed now, why does the game just stop there though? That doesn't make any sense. That's all going, that's all going. I pause, I go, boof, done. 8 speed, why is everybody decided they're pacifists now? Anyway, that's a weird issue. I'll have to look into that one. Yeah, then you can use that. Ooh, his health went up there. Oh yeah, so we're allowing him to go over his max health because we didn't check for that. What an absolute idiot hole. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, you saw cards got applied. And on here, we don't currently show what other effects are active. So we probably want a card here, which would be passive effects. And that would be kind of added to. You know what, I'm going to raise an issue for that. Raise an issue while I remember. Only shows face, glass, wet, armor. There we go. So that can be added. That shouldn't take too long at all. I'll put that next time. Create. Right. Let's commit up what we've got so far. I mean, we've slightly broken the game somewhat, but this is fine. This is fine. Right, and we're still on the branch here, so I'm gonna merge this into main. And push up main. And I'll probably end up deleting that branch later, so ignore the one. It's just behind. Actually, no, I'll push that up anyway. Push that up. There you go. So they're both in line now anyway. Right, I'm gonna call it that. So we can now apply cards to things. From a gameplay perspective, that's a huge thing. A huge thing. Because that now gives us the ability to have a card game, effectively. Before it was just a game where these things did stuff. Now we can actually interact with these. And potentially keep them alive. And when they die, get a card back. Or whatever it may be. Have I got one in for that? 2 cards on monster death. See, that there'll be an interesting one, because that will give us the notion of loot pools and stuff. Which OpenRPG has the notion of that already. We can basically say that this creature has like 5 different bits of loot, and they've all got different percentages of dropping, but only one of them should drop, etc. So it might not be super advanced, but we can extend it to be as advanced as we need it to be. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So anyway, I'm gonna go pass out in bed now, and probably not talk for another 24 hours. So it's been emotional. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.